What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Support Group Gaming. I'm a therapist who games, and today we're going to be talking about the Silent Hill 2 remake that initially sent the gaming world, especially the survival horror fans, in a frenzy due to the critically acclaimed release of Silent Hill 2 back in the day. Now, in an era where remakes of classics are becoming more and more common, this is one of those series that a lot of fans, especially Silent Hill 2, feels like it was the best game of the franchise. But now, recently, the combat trailer was recently released, and it has some fans concerned. And we're going to dive into that. But before we do that, if you guys can do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button, because my philosophy is if you enjoy the vibe, why not like and subscribe? Now, let's get into it. So just a brief synopsis of Silent Hill 2 without any spoilers or anything. So Silent Hill 2 is a game about a guy named James Sunderland who receives a letter from his deceased wife, and that is the driving catalyst of the game. That is what brings him to Silent Hill, and through that starts the journey of all of this psychological. This game is more so. I said survival horror, but this particular game is definitely about it's more psychological horror than anything. So I'm not gonna get any further into that because this video is all about the remake, and so the remake itself, when you play the original, of course you see the product as a product of its time, the graphics and everything. But this remake had fans going crazy because the one thing about today's systems, the PS4, the PS5, and all that, is that developers are able to go back in time and take the original idea, the original imagination of what the game was supposed to be, and now technology has allowed those developers to make it as realistic and to really bring the developers' dream and vision to life, so to speak. When you take a look at the Silent Hill 2 remake, it's very similar to what we saw in the Final Fantasy 7 remake. It's very similar to what we saw in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Now, this particular game is very similar when you look at the graphics, very similar to Resident Evil 2 remake with the over the shoulder. The graphics look really good. The graphics look pretty amazing. Now, I personally am not worried about what we saw when it comes to the combat gameplay, and I'll tell you why. The game was just announced a year ago, so clearly the game is still in development. Even after the trailer, or the combat trailer, we did not get a release date, which is great because what we saw from that was the fact that, okay, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. The way James walks through the town, as you can see, like with the graphics, the way he walks through the fog and everything looks good. Now, the only thing I'll say is once you start seeing video of the combat, it makes you a little nervous, just in terms of, holy crap, this looks like it's being developed by indie developers and not a AAA developer like Konami. So, however, when we take a look at Wolverine that is being released by Insomniac Games, Spider-Man was such a great game. Everybody got hyped up when the Wolverine trailer dropped. Everybody was just going crazy. Now, recently, Wolverine gameplay footage leaked, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks bad. Okay, it looks nothing like Spider-Man, but that's because the game is still in development. And so what I'm hoping with Silent Hill is that what we saw is it's still in development, and I'm like I said, I'm not going to hit the panic button yet because there's still plenty of time for them to work this out, and I'm sure they saw the reception with the comments and everything and what everybody pointed to. So I know that Konami is going to go back and do what they've got to do, to make the game a little bit more smoother when it comes to the combat, because that's one of the driving forces of a game is combat. So, me personally, I'm not gonna panic yet because, like I said before, the game is far from development, a development deadline, and there's plenty of time. And that Wolverine game is the perfect example of that. But you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments in the chat, because just based on the graphical presentation of the game, I think Silent 2 is going to be amazing. It's definitely going to be one of those games, one of those remakes that are very on par with um, Final Fantasy 7, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, and all the other remakes that really did the original justice. And if there are some games like that, you guys drop those in the comments, and I'm going to be looking forward to reading them. And I'll see you guys next time here at Support Group Gaming. Peace.